The last train in Berlin said my full name over the platform speaker. Final service to Friedrichshain delayed 3 minutes for passenger Matteo Klein. It was 12:41 a.m., raining, and I was the only person standing on platform 2. I am Matteo Klein. By day I work as a social worker. 2 nights a week I volunteer for a crisis hotline. A week earlier, at 11:53 p.m., I answered a call from a man standing on a bridge near Ostbahnhof. He said, "Calm and empty, I wanted one person to hear me before I go." I kept him on the line for 42 minutes. We talked about his debt, his shame, his father's silence, his fear of being useless. At 12:35 a.m., he stepped away from the railing and agreed to meet paramedics by the station bakery. He never told me his name. A week later, the last train called mine. The doors opened and stayed open for me. Inside were 6 people spread across a long carriage, a nurse in scrubs, a teenage girl with paint on her fingers, an old man in a wool cap, 2 delivery riders, and me. No one looked surprised. At the first stop, the nurse handed me a wrapped sandwich and said, "Night shift rule. If your hands shake, eat first." She got off before I could answer. At the second stop, the girl gave me a black earbud. "You dropped this last Tuesday," she said. I had lost one earbud exactly 1 week ago while pacing near Ostbahnhof during that bridge call. At the third stop, the old man gave me a folded receipt. On the back, "You stayed on the line." So did he. Then he got off. By now my chest felt too tight for breathing. At terminal, everyone left except me. The doors stayed open. I walked to the driver's cabin. The driver was in his late 50s, gray beard, red eyes from long shifts. He pointed to a photo clipped beside his timetable, a young man in front of a mechanic's shop. "My son," he said. "Luca." I went still. "He called your hotline last week." My hand gripped the door frame. "He came home at 2 in the morning," the driver continued. "Crying, angry, alive. He said a stranger kept talking to him until he could make one better decision." The driver opened a metal lunchbox and handed me 2 cannoli wrapped in foil. "He told me if I ever met you, give you sugar. Said you sound like a man who forgets dinner." I laughed once and immediately started crying. "I did not save him," I said. "I only talked." The driver shook his head. "Talking is how people come back." We sat in silence while rain slid down the windshield. "Before I got off," he said, "the train did not wait by magic. I asked dispatch to hold 3 minutes. Broke procedure a little." "Why?" "Because gratitude should travel both ways." On the platform, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "I'm still here. Starting therapy Monday. Thank you for not hanging up. No name. No drama. Still here." That message followed me into the next week, and the week after. People think hotline work is all hero moments. It is not. Most nights are ordinary, breathing exercises, grounding cues, safety plans, repeating "stay with me" until your throat hurts. You go home carrying strangers in your ribs. Some nights you wonder if any word matters. That train answered me. Not with applause. With people. A nurse and a sandwich. A teenager and an earbud. An old man and 6 words. A father and 2 cannoli. I started changing small things at the hotline desk. I taped one sentence under my monitor. "Stay on the line. Someone is building a bridge on the other side." I added a post-call food reminder card because too many volunteers forgot to eat after heavy calls. I asked our team lead to create a 10-minute decompression protocol so no one walked home with panic trapped in their chest. I started ending calls with one extra sentence. "You do not need to solve your whole life tonight. Just survive this hour." 3 months later, we got a handwritten postcard at the hotline office. No return address. Front side showed a train line map. Back side said, "I fixed my first customer engine this morning. My hands still shake sometimes. I still hear the bridge in my head. But now I hear your voice too." One better decision. Then another. Thank you. Signed only, Al. I keep that card in my wallet now, beside my work badge. Every Thursday, I still take the last train when my shift ends. Sometimes the same driver is there. Sometimes he just nods through the glass. Sometimes the intercom clicks and he says, "Doors will remain open a little longer." Most passengers hear routine operations. I hear a promise. That someone, somewhere, is being given one more minute to choose life. If you have never sat with a stranger in their worst hour, you might think words are weak. Words are not weak. Words are rails. Words are handrails on dark stairs. Words are the distance between a railing and a bakery. Words are what keep a person on the line long enough for morning to arrive. The world did not become easier after that night. Calls still come at bad hours. Rent is still high. Sleep is still short. Rain still hits the station roof exactly the same way. But now, when fatigue tells me none of this matters, I remember that platform announcement. The city delayed a train for 3 minutes because one life continued. 3 minutes is nothing on a timetable. 3 minutes is everything in a crisis. If you are listening to this and you are on your own bridge tonight, do one thing. Stay. Stay for one call. Stay for one station. Stay for one cup of bad coffee. Stay for one message that says, "Still here." Then make one better decision. Then another. I have seen what happens next. Sometimes the last train waits.